Welcome to UFO Files. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In the heart of the Nevada desert, a clandestine site known as Area 51 has long been the epicenter of UFO lore and conspiracy theories. Yet, it is not from this notorious military base that our story emerges, but instead from a seemingly innocuous air traffic control tower in Kuala Lumpur. A radar blip, an unidentified flying object, intersected with the flight path of the ill-fated MH370 on that fateful night in March 2014. A detail largely ignored by mainstream media, yet one that demands our attention. This unidentified radar signature, recorded minutes before MH370's sudden disappearance, was neither a commercial aircraft nor a known military vehicle. The object, moving at a speed and trajectory inconsistent with conventional aircraft, intersected with the Boeing 737's flight path, then vanished just as MH370 itself blinked out of existence on radar screens. It's a chilling detail, especially when considered alongside the Malaysian government's near-immediate declaration of all 239 passengers and crew on board as lost. A conclusion drawn with alarming haste before any wreckage was found, before any definitive proof of a crash was presented. A chilling silence replaced the cacophony of questions, leaving families, friends, and the world waiting, wondering, and speculating about the fate of the missing plane. Yet, the enigma of the unidentified object remains, brushed under the rug by officials and forgotten by the public, buried beneath the weight of the greatest aviation mystery of our time. The link between this UFO event and the missing flight MH370, while elusive, cannot be entirely dismissed. In the world of ufology, similar incidents abound. From the infamous Flight 19, vanishing in the Bermuda Triangle in 1945, to the Frederick Valentich disappearance over the Bass Strait in 1978, both accompanied by reports of strange aerial phenomena. The question arises, is there a pattern? Is there a hidden, perhaps even suppressed link between UFO encounters and these inexplicable aviation disappearances? One cannot help but ponder the potential implications. If such a link exists, what does it say about the nature of these unidentified flying objects? Are we dealing with advanced technologies, extraterrestrial or otherwise, far beyond our comprehension? Or is there a more sinister, covert aspect at play, carefully manipulated by unseen hands? The mystery deepens, the silence amplifies. The missing flight MH370, a modern enigma entwined with the enigmatic world of UFOs, calls us to pry open the doors of hidden knowledge, to question the narratives we've been given, and seek the truth hidden within the shadows of the unexplained. In order to tease out a possible connection between the UFO phenomenon and the disappearance of MH370, we must journey back in time to the first documented UFO encounters. To truly comprehend the magnitude of this mystery, it's crucial to understand the historical context and origins tied to the UFO phenomenon. This takes us back to the mid-20th century, to the year 1947. Kenneth Arnold, a private pilot and businessman, reported seeing 9 objects, glowing bright as a nickel in the sun, flying in a V formation over Washington state's Cascade Mountains. Arnold estimated their speed to be over 200 miles per hour, a speed unheard of at that time. His description of their motion as saucers skipping on water led the press to coin the term flying saucers. Arnold's sighting, widely considered the start of the modern UFO era, unleashed a flurry of similar reports across the United States. It was a time of post-war unease. The Cold War was beginning to simmer, the fear of nuclear obliteration was palpable, and the space race was just kicking off. The world was stepping into an era of rapid scientific development and socio-political tension. In this climate, the UFO phenomenon took root, feeding off fears of the unknown and the unexplored frontiers of space. The UFO phenomenon wasn't confined to the United States. In the decades that followed, sightings were reported worldwide. The 1954 French wave, the 1976 Tehran incident, and the 1990 Belgian UFO flap, to name a few, added fuel to the growing fire of UFO speculation. Whether these were misinterpretations of natural or man-made phenomena, manifestations of Cold War anxieties, or indeed encounters with extraterrestrial intelligence, the fact remains that they became part of our cultural zeitgeist, influencing everything from pop culture to government policy. In 1969, the U.S. Air Force concluded Project Blue Book, its official investigation into the UFO phenomenon. Despite investigating over 12,000 UFO reports, the project found no evidence of extraterrestrial vehicles, no threat to national security, and no advanced technology beyond our current understanding. Yet, many ufologists consider this conclusion as part of a larger cover-up, a deliberate attempt to downplay the significance of UFO sightings and maintain public order. The origins of the UFO phenomenon are deeply intertwined with our history, reflecting our fears, hopes, and the ever-present human yearning for understanding the universe. As we delve deeper into the enigma of MH370's disappearance, we must bear in mind this complex backdrop. The UFO phenomenon has long been a mirror for our collective anxieties and aspirations, a canvas onto which we project our deepest questions about our place in the cosmos. Could it be that the MH370 mystery is yet another chapter in this ongoing saga, another piece of the puzzle in our quest for truth amid the unknown? As we begin to peel back the layers of the MH370 mystery, we encounter a cast of characters whose experiences and testimonies shed light on the story. One such individual is Catherine T., a British yachting enthusiast, who recalled seeing an unusual sight in the early hours of March 8, 2014. She and her husband were sailing from India to Thailand when she observed what she described as a plane surrounded by bright orange lights and trailed by a smoky haze, flying at an unusually low altitude. This sighting occurred in the Andaman Sea, an area that aligns well with the projected flight path of MH370. On the other side of the world, a man named John Chuckman, a retired oil company executive living in Canada, claimed to have satellite images showing an unidentified flying object close to the last known location of the ill-fated flight. While these images did not provide definitive evidence of a UFO, they did raise further questions about what may have been in the vicinity of the plane prior to its disappearance. Meanwhile, the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Mahathir Mohamad, made headlines when he suggested that there may be a hidden truth behind the disappearance of MH370. He voiced doubts regarding the official narrative and suggested that the flight's communication system might have been remotely controlled and disabled, a theory that some have interpreted as hinting towards a possible UFO involvement. Moreover, several declassified documents have also added to the aura of mystery. One such document is a radar report from the Malaysian military, which suggested that MH370 might have performed a series of erratic altitude changes and turns before disappearing. This erratic flight behavior is often associated with UFO encounters, though the connection remains unsubstantiated. Eyewitness accounts, government officials, and declassified documents present a mosaic of intrigue, mystery, and unexplained phenomena. Yet, the most compelling evidence perhaps comes from the realm of photographic evidence. Satellite images taken in the days following the disappearance revealed a series of unidentified objects floating in the southern Indian Ocean. While many of these were later identified as sea debris or innocuous maritime objects, a few remain unidentified, further deepening the enigma surrounding MH370. The intricate web of testimonies, declassified documents, and photographic evidence points to a narrative that is far from straightforward. The witnesses and key players in this unfolding drama all contribute to a story that refuses to adhere to a simple explanation. As we continue to explore the convoluted narrative of MH370, we find ourselves facing more questions than answers. The tantalizing possibility of a hidden link between the UFO phenomenon and the disappearance of the flight lingers, leaving us yearning for clarity amidst the veil of mystery. At the core of the MH370 mystery lies a controversial theory that asserts the flight was taken by extraterrestrial entities, a notion heavily fueled by the unconventional circumstances surrounding the plane's disappearance. As audacious as it sounds, this theory has been propagated by various ufologists who believe that the lack of wreckage, strange satellite images, and the erratic flight path are evidence of an extraterrestrial intervention. The theory purports that the aircraft's sudden and unexplainable deviation from its flight path, along with the enigmatic altitude changes, are reminiscent of numerous UFO encounters documented over the years. These sudden maneuvers, UFO theorists argue, were potentially an effort by the flight crew to evade an approaching unidentified craft. The theory deepens with the bizarre silence that followed the flight deviation. The plane's communication systems went eerily quiet, leaving no distress calls, no indication of trouble. Some proponents of the UFO theory suggest this silence could be the result of a technologically advanced force capable of disabling our electronic systems. This hypothesis parallels accounts of various UFO encounters in which electronic equipment mysteriously malfunctions in the presence of an unidentified flying object. The enigma is amplified by the satellite images that surfaced after the plane's disappearance. Among the debris and maritime objects, a few unidentified pieces caught the attention of UFO theorists. According to them, these objects were not random sea debris, but rather remnants of a possible collision or interaction between MH370 and a UFO. This UFO theory, like all others, comes with its share of skeptics. However, its proponents argue that the circumstantial evidence and the inexplicability of the event itself lend it credibility. They maintain that the disappearance of MH370 is a classic case of a UFO encounter, one that echoes numerous other mysterious disappearances in aviation history, such as the infamous Bermuda Triangle incidents. The theory's resilience stems from the fact that despite extensive search efforts and numerous investigations, the fate of MH370 remains shrouded in uncertainty. It's this void of verifiable information that allows the theory to persist, casting a long shadow over conventional explanations. However, this theory, like the event itself, is enigmatic and contentious. It challenges our understanding of the world and pushes us to consider possibilities beyond conventional comprehension. It's a narrative imbued with elements of intrigue, suspense, and mystery, one that continues to captivate the imagination of many and continues to fuel the debate on the existence and potential influence of extraterrestrial life. The truth about MH370 and its connection to the UFO phenomenon, if any, remains elusive, reinforcing the adage that truth is indeed oftentimes stranger than fiction. As we delve deeper into our exploration, it's worth noting that the UFO theory is not just based on circumstantial evidence or the sheer audacity of the event. There are certain physical anomalies and evidentiary pieces that cannot be dismissed casually. The proponents of the UFO theory argue that these anomalies suggest interference or engagement with a technology that is beyond our current understanding. One of the most intriguing pieces of physical evidence was the discovery of a flaperon from the aircraft on Reunion Island, over a year after the plane's disappearance. What puzzled the investigators was not just the unexpected location of the debris, but its condition. The flaperon showed signs of damage that were inconsistent with a high-speed impact with water. It was torn and shredded as if by an enormous force, but not crushed as would be expected in a crash. Some have suggested this could be evidence of a violent mid-air interaction with an unknown object or force. In addition to the physical damage on the flaperon, there were reports of unusual biofouling on the debris. Biofouling refers to the accumulation of microorganisms, plants, algae, or small animals on wetted surfaces. The biofouling on the flaperon was atypical, suggesting that the debris had not been submerged in water for the entire duration since the plane's disappearance. This raises serious questions about where the flaperon was during this time and why it was not consistently in the water, as one would expect from crash debris. Then there's the matter of electromagnetic interference. A significant number of UFO sightings are accompanied by reports of electrical malfunctions. Similarly, Flight MH370 experienced unexplained electronic anomalies. The aircraft's communication systems, including its transponder, ceased functioning without any distress signals. The plane also vanished from radar, only to reappear briefly on military radar before vanishing again. If an advanced technology was indeed involved, could it have the capacity to manipulate or disable our electronic systems? Tying these elements together, proponents of the UFO theory argue that the physical evidence and the questions it raises fit into a larger pattern of unexplained aerial phenomena. The anomalies associated with MH370, they contend, are signs of a technologically superior force at work, possibly extraterrestrial in origin. While this theory certainly stretches the boundaries of conventional thought, it's important to remember that the disappearance of MH370 is a mystery that still defies explanation. The physical evidence, the anomalies, and the missing pieces of the puzzle keep the door open to interpretations that lie beyond our current understanding. The link between MH370 and UFOs remains a matter of speculation, but it's a speculation that continues to challenge our perception of what is known and unknown. In the wake of the disappearance of MH370, official responses were marked by a notable lack of clarity. It was as if the higher echelons of power were choking on their own silence. The Malaysian government, after initially sharing information freely, suddenly began to withhold key facts. The release of information became selective and sporadic, and the investigation was marred by inconsistencies, confusion, and delays. Military agencies were equally non-committal. Despite the plane disappearing from civilian radar, it was later revealed that it had been tracked by military radar for a considerable period after. Yet this information was not immediately shared. If it had been, search efforts could have been redirected much sooner. The delay in revealing this critical fact has raised suspicions about why it was kept under wraps. Furthermore, the investigative team's decision to classify the final report on the missing aircraft added another layer of secrecy. This move, which is often reserved for matters of national security or sensitive intelligence, further fueled speculation about a possible cover-up. As the search for MH370 continued, numerous individuals and groups came forward with information and theories about its fate. Some of these accounts suggested a UFO connection. However, these witnesses found themselves discredited, silenced, or ignored. A common pattern emerged of witnesses being dismissed as conspiracy theorists or attention seekers, effectively shutting down any serious examination of their claims. In the midst of this informational maze, accusations of disinformation campaigns began to surface. Disinformation, or the deliberate spread of misleading or false information, is a tactic often used by governments and intelligence bodies to manipulate public perception or to cover up sensitive information. In the case of MH370, critics argue that conflicting reports, withheld information, and the discrediting of alternative theories could indicate a systematic effort to control the narrative around the plane's disappearance. The question that remains unanswered is, why? What could possibly justify such a convoluted web of half-truths and silence? If there is indeed a connection between the missing flight and unidentified aerial phenomena, what are the potential implications that could warrant such secrecy? These are the questions that continue to linger, casting long shadows over the enigma of MH370. As the investigation into the plane's disappearance continues, so too does the search for truth amidst a fog of denial and information suppression. In the shadowy corners of our collective consciousness, where the mystery of MH370 resides, we are thrust into a turbulence of profound philosophical conundrums. The potential connection between UFOs and the missing flight is not just about a physical event that happened to an airplane, but it pierces to the heart of our understanding about the nature of reality itself. If there is truth to the theory that MH370 was involved in an extraterrestrial encounter, it thrusts humanity into the stark realization that we are not alone in the universe. This is a seismic paradigm shift that unravels the very fabric of our understanding about our place in the cosmos. It confronts us with an uncomfortable truth, that we are not the dominant intelligence in the universe, but merely one sentient species among perhaps many, and perhaps not the most advanced. Furthermore, it challenges our trust in authority. If governments and powerful organizations can suppress such vital information, what else are they hiding? This lack of transparency corrodes the social contract between citizens and their governments, fostering a climate of doubt and suspicion. The implications are far-reaching, with potential to reshape geopolitical landscapes, disrupt power dynamics, and redefine our understanding of national security. On a more existential level, the potential link between the missing flight and UFOs confronts us with the fragility of our existence. We are reminded of the vast, unknown expanse of the universe that surrounds our small, blue planet. It brings into focus our vulnerability in the cosmic scheme of things and the precariousness of our grip on existence. From a spiritual perspective, such an event could trigger a fundamental shift in religious beliefs and philosophical perspectives. If other intelligent life forms exist, what does this imply about our theological constructs? How might our understanding of creation, life, death, and afterlife be altered? Culturally, the acceptance of extraterrestrial life could lead to an evolution in our arts, literature, and media, reflecting new perceptions of life beyond Earth. It would no doubt influence our technological aspirations, potentially driving a new era of space exploration and scientific discovery. In the end, the potential UFO link to MH370 serves as a mirror, reflecting our deepest fears and greatest hopes. It challenges our notions of reality, authority, and our place in the universe. As we navigate this labyrinth of uncertainties and unanswered questions, one thing is clear. The disappearance of MH370 is not just a missing plane mystery, but a complex enigma that has triggered a global introspection about our understanding of the universe, humanity's role within it, and the very nature of reality itself. In recent years, the possible connection between MH370 and unidentified flying objects has re-emerged into the public consciousness, fueled by a resurgence of interest in UFO phenomena. This renewed curiosity has been stoked by a spate of new documentaries, podcasts, and leaked videos that delve into the mysterious disappearance of the aircraft. High-profile releases like The Disappearance of Flight MH370 and The UFO Enigma have explored the theory, presenting compelling narratives that draw on classified documents, expert interviews, and analysis of the scant evidence available. These productions have served to rekindle public interest, casting a fresh spotlight on the enigma surrounding the missing flight. The impact of these media artifacts is undeniable, effectively shifting public discourse surrounding the UFO phenomena from the fringes of society to mainstream conversation. This shift is marked by a change in public opinion, with surveys indicating an increasing acceptance of the possibility of extraterrestrial life and the potential involvement of UFOs in unexplained events like the disappearance of MH370. Beyond the public sphere, the resurgence of interest has also reached the corridors of power. In the United States, for instance, there have been congressional hearings on the issue of UFO sightings, marking a significant departure from the traditional stance of denial and dismissal. This shift in policy indicates a growing recognition of the potential implications of the UFO phenomena on national security and aerospace technology, further legitimizing the discussion. Leaked videos of purported UFO sightings by military personnel have only added fuel to the fire. These videos, often grainy and inconclusive, nonetheless present intriguing evidence that is difficult to dismiss outright. Whether they depict alien spacecraft or unknown natural phenomena, these videos have become a crucial component of the ongoing discourse surrounding the UFO MH370 link. This renewed interest in the UFO phenomena and its potential link to the missing flight MH370 is not just about solving a mystery. It's about reassessing our understanding of the universe and reevaluating our place within it. The questions raised compel us to confront the possibility of other intelligent life forms, pressing us to redefine our notions of existence, authority, and reality. The resurgence of the MH370 UFO theory is more than a media spectacle. It's a cultural phenomenon that underscores our collective fascination with the unknown. It's a testament to our insatiable curiosity, our enduring quest for truth, and our unyielding belief in the possibility of the extraordinary. As the enigma of MH370 continues to unfold, it serves as a potent reminder of the mysteries that still lie beyond our current understanding, waiting to be unraveled. As we delve into the more speculative side of this discourse, we find a pantheon of theories that, while perhaps beyond the pale of conventional thinking, present imaginative interpretations of the mysteries surrounding UFOs and the lost flight MH370. These controversial theories range from alien contact, time travel, and interdimensional portals to classified technological programs and even hybrid agendas. The alien contact theory posits that flight MH370 was intercepted or abducted by extraterrestrial beings. The proponents of this theory argue that the sudden disappearance of the plane from radar, the lack of any debris or wreckage, and the absence of distress calls all point to an intervention that is beyond human capabilities and comprehension. They suggest that the plane and its passengers were subjects of extraterrestrial interest or experimentation, a hypothesis that, while difficult to prove, is equally challenging to disprove given the current state of our knowledge about extraterrestrial life. The time travel theory, on the other hand, suggests that the flight might have encountered a temporal anomaly, a glitch in the fabric of time-space that propelled it into a different era. While time travel remains largely theoretical, proponents of this view argue that the unexplained disappearance of the flight could be a manifestation of such a phenomenon. The interdimensional portal theory posits that the flight could have encountered a gateway, a sort of wormhole, leading to another reality or dimension. The sudden disappearance of the plane would thus be explained by its passage into an alternate reality, forever beyond the reach of our conventional understanding of physics. The secret tech theory suggests that the plane was captured or destroyed by classified, advanced technology, possibly as part of a covert operation or experiment. This would explain the lack of physical evidence or distress signals, as well as the inexplicable nature of its disappearance. Finally, the hybrid agenda theory posits that the flight's disappearance is part of a bigger plan involving extraterrestrial beings and humans. This theory is rooted in the belief that there are collaborations between humans and aliens, with the missing flight serving as a part of a grander, undisclosed agenda. Each of these theories, while speculative, embodies a fundamental human trait: our desire to make sense of the unknown by extending the boundaries of our imagination. They reflect our instinctual yearning to explore the limits of our knowledge and to seek answers that transcend the confines of our current understanding. These controversial theories, while they may not provide concrete answers, undeniably add layers of intrigue to the enduring mystery that is the disappearance of Flight MH370. And so we come, full circle, back to the enigma that continues to surround the disappearance of Flight MH370. A mystery that remains as elusive today as it was on that fateful day in 2014. Despite exhaustive investigations and extensive searches, the definitive fate of the vanished airliner remains a mystery. It is in this vacuum of concrete evidence that our speculative theories have taken root, each one addressing the inexplicable with its own unique interpretation of the possible. But what remains unanswered? At the heart of the mystery, the most fundamental questions persist. Why did all communication from the plane cease abruptly? Why could extensive and sophisticated searches not locate any significant wreckage? And perhaps most hauntingly, what became of the 239 souls on board? In the face of these unanswered questions, the theories we've explored provide a kind of solace. They offer potential explanations for the inexplicable, each one carrying its own weight of possibility. The extraterrestrial theory, the time travel theory, the interdimensional portal theory, the secret tech theory, and the hybrid agenda theory, all of them are born from the human endeavor to comprehend the incomprehensible, to illuminate the shadows of the unknown. Yet as we delve deeper into these theories, they open up further avenues of mystery. If indeed the plane was subject to extraterrestrial interference, why this particular aircraft? If the plane encountered a temporal anomaly or an interdimensional gateway, what does this imply about our understanding of time-space? If the plane was seized or destroyed by classified technology, whose hands are we to suspect? And if the flight was part of a grander alien-human agenda, what is the endgame of this clandestine collaboration? The answers to these questions, like the ultimate fate of Flight MH370, remain shrouded in uncertainty. Yet it is this very uncertainty that invites us to look beyond what is known, to question what is accepted, and to consider the extraordinary. As we stand on the brink of this enigma, we are reminded that our reality is a complex tapestry woven from threads of known facts and hidden truths. In the end, the disappearance of Flight MH370 and its potential link to UFOs and other fringe theories reminds us of the vastness of the universe we inhabit and the endless possibilities it holds. It calls upon us to continually question, to relentlessly seek, and to always remain open to the existence of realities beyond our current comprehension. It invites us to ponder on what's real, what's hidden, and what might still be out there, waiting to be discovered. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of UFO Files. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.